That Vinicius Jr is a great player, we all know. The man went through several humiliations during his time at Real Madrid, with teammates plotting against him, distrust from the manager, and shaky performances. Let us be honest too. But since Ancelotti arrived in June 2021, something changed with Vinicius. He evolved massively with Carlo, understanding exactly where his game worked best and how he could help Real Madrid achieve big things after a very long period of inactivity. At that moment, Vinicius was on cloud 9. In the 21-22 season, the debut season for the duo, Vinny Jr played 52 games, scored 22 goals and gave 20 assists. He went from being humiliated to scoring the winner in the Champions League final, securing the 14th title for his club. It was a season worthy of the World Best award, but the spotlight stayed on Benzema, who ended up being crowned the best in the world at the time, after an amazing season too, though the debate over who actually deserved to take it goes on to this day. In the 22-23 season, he had 55 games, 23 goals and 21 assists, but they fell short in the Champions League, and he ended up missing out on the rankings. But in the 23-24 season, when Benzema left and Jude Bellingham arrived in Madrid, the man exploded. In terms of performance, it was one of his best seasons ever. His numbers were not higher than previous seasons, but he still played 39 games, much fewer than his usual average, scored 24 goals and provided 11 assists, winning the Champions League and La Liga, and was crowned the best in the world. Despite all the prestige and a great redemption story, he was never a consensus for his national team, always questioned for not delivering what he did at Real Madrid. Right in his Ballon d'Or season, Vinicius had a terrible Copa America, where the Brazilian fans put a lot of faith in his football. He played 3 games and scored 2 goals, a decent return, right? The problem is that in the last game, the man picked up a yellow card, missing the quarterfinals and watching his side get knocked out on penalties by Uruguay. Since then, he had never put in any convincing performances to justify being an absolute starter, being questioned by fans and seeing reports saying he only started because of his name, and because there were no managers with the guts to drop him from the squad. Before talking about Vinicius' performance and story so far, I want to ask for a like and your subscription. It really helps us keep creating content here. Thank you very much, my friends. Up until the start of the World Cup, Vinny was coming off a horrible season full of controversies, whether with managers like when he stormed off swearing at Xabi Alonso, refusing to accept a reduced role after being sidelined for Mbappe at Real Madrid, or about his private life with a famous actress in Brazil, which generated several headlines for something he never had issues with before. But in the final stretch, he began to improve, though nothing changed much in terms of public perception in Brazil. But there was always one stat to keep Brazilian fans hopeful, which is Vinicius Jr.'s World Cup numbers. Having played in only one World Cup, the 2022 edition, he started 4 games, scored 1 goal, and provided 2 assists. Very good numbers for a player who went into that tournament still as a young prospect, making his debut in Neymar's shadow, who was Brazil's main man back then. He was coming off a season with world-class numbers, but still under Karim Benzema's shadow, in his debut under Carlo Ancelotti, and then the 2026 World Cup kicked off. Despite being heavily criticised and surrounded by doubt, Vinicius Jr was named in the starting lineup from the word go. He is one of Carlo Ancelotti's favourites, and the gaffer always made a point of defending his star, never dropping him for anyone, even under intense pressure from the Brazilian fans, who at one point even turned on Ancelotti himself because of it. And Brazil started the World Cup terribly, being completely dominated by Morocco. The opening minutes of the match were pure agony for the Brazilian side. Morocco simply took control of the game and managed to go ahead, making a 1-0 lead look easy and looking likely to double it. Right after that, there was a drinks break, and Brazil did not come back much better, but at least they looked more stable. From a second ball recovered after a goal kick from the Morocco keeper, the Brazil midfield immediately played the ball into Vinicius's feet for him to run, reaching the byline, but notice how there were always two markers on him. He then plays it back to the midfielder. Bruno Guimaraes draws the attention of a few defenders and gives it back to Vinicius, but by the time he controls the ball, look at that. There are literally 3 guys surrounding the left winger. And what does Vinicius Jr do? He conjures a goal out of absolutely nothing, using his pure genius, saving Brazil from a defeat, though the whole team was under fire after this draw, with intense pressure on the players and coaching staff. But that is where the Vinicius Jr phenomenon began, making magic and creating the goal all by himself. Against Haiti, a much weaker side than Brazil, it is true, who went with a completely kamikaze style of play, trying to attack Brazil totally open. Vinicius Jr had the first chance of the match, firing a powerful shot that forced the keeper to parry it away, and Vinicius Jr scored on the rebound. Vinicius Jr is directly involved in Brazil's first goal. For the second, Vinicius simply lofts a pass to Vinicius Jr, who scores a worldie for Brazil, firing it into the top corner. For the third goal, Vinicius Jr is played through on the attack with a massive amount of space to run into, as Haiti's lines were incredibly high. Heaven knows why, and it was these exact conditions that made Vinicius the best player in the world in 2024. An expected victory, but one that brought peace to the squad, and everything went through Vinicius's feet from the start. Against Scotland, an opponent with a bit more quality to test Brazil, Vinicius Jr was pressing Scotland's build-up play when Ryan, the Bournemouth player, had the ball dispossessed, which fell to Vinicius Jr, and he opened the scoring again. He also had another goal ruled out by the referee for a very bizarre foul, the kind of foul that has not been given in this World Cup. And for the third goal, Vinicius Jr, using his head this time, which is not one of his most outstanding qualities, fools the defence and nods it into the back of the net. That makes it 4 goals and 1 assist, not to mention his direct involvement in Brazil's first goal against Haiti. So truly Vinicius Jr has become a major threat in this World Cup. No one was keeping an eye on him, and he's been stealing the entire spotlight for himself in this Brazil team. On top of that, he was the man responsible for completely lifting the immense pressure that Brazil had been facing from all sides.